Yo, what's up, entrepreneurs and hustlers? Before Facebook, before Instagram, before TikTok, there was Friendster. This was the OG social network. Launched back in 2002 when some of you were still rocking dial-up. It was huge. Millions of users, tons of hype, investors throwing money at them left and right. They were the first to crack the code. Or so they thought. Because here's the thing. Being first doesn't guarantee you'll win the game. Friendster crashed and burned hard, while Facebook, well, they took over the world. What the heck happened? How did the pioneers of social media completely fumble the bag? In this video, we're diving deep into the epic rise and fall of Friendster. We're gonna break down the business lessons we can all learn from their story, because trust me, there are some huge takeaways here. Subscribe now and hit that bell so you don't miss out. Let's rewind back to 2002. The internet was a different world back then. Forget about smartphones and high-speed Wi-Fi, we were all rocking dial-up and those clunky desktop computers. And then came Friendster. Founded by Jonathan Abrams, Friendster was like nothing we'd ever seen before. Imagine this, you create a profile, you connect with friends, you share your interests, and you could even check out who's checking you out. It was revolutionary. People were hooked. Within a few months, they had over 3 million users, and the growth was exploding. Investors were tripping over themselves to get a piece of Friendster. This was it, the next big thing. They were the pioneers, the first to really tap into the power of social networking. They had a massive head start. But here's the thing about being first. It's not enough just to be there first. You gotta execute. You gotta keep innovating. You gotta keep the users happy. And you gotta scale like a mother-f-asterisk keeker. And that, my friends, is where Friendster really dropped the ball. See, they had this incredible first-mover advantage, but they didn't capitalize on it. They didn't understand that in the tech world the game changes every single day. And that's the first lesson here. Being first is great, but execution is everything. As Friendster's user base exploded, cracks started to appear. Remember those dial-up days? Slow internet speeds were the norm. And Friendster, well, they weren't exactly built for speed. Pages took forever to load, the site crashed constantly, and users were getting frustrated. Imagine waiting 5 minutes for a picture to load. It was brutal. Meanwhile, a new player entered the game, MySpace. Now, MySpace was a little rough around the edges, but it was fast, it was customizable, and it was all about music, which was huge back then. Instead of addressing these critical issues, Friendster's leadership got distracted. They started focusing on monetization, trying to figure out how to squeeze every penny out of the platform. They were chasing partnerships and advertising deals instead of fixing the damn website. Listen, I'm all about monetizing, but you gotta get the fundamentals right first. You gotta give the people what they want. And what they wanted was a smooth, enjoyable user experience. They didn't get that with Friendster. People were tired of the technical glitches, they were tired of the slow loading times, and they were starting to jump ship to MySpace in droves. This is Business 101, folks. User experience is everything. You can have the most innovative product in the world, but if it's a pain in the ass to use, people will find something better. Chapter 3. Turning down Google. Picture this. It's 2003, and Google, the biggest search engine on the planet, comes knocking on Friendster's door with a $30 million offer. That's right, Google wanted to buy them out. $30 million. Back then, that was huge. You know what Friendster's founders did? They said thanks but no thanks. They were convinced they could become even bigger than Google. They were so focused on being the next big thing that they missed a golden opportunity. They let their ego get in the way of a deal that could have changed everything. This wasn't just about the money. Imagine the resources, the talent, the infrastructure that Google could have brought to the table. They could have fixed those technical issues, they could have scaled the platform, they could have crushed the competition, but they didn't. They got cocky, they underestimated their rivals, and that was a huge mistake. Remember, in the tech world, things move at lightning speed. Today's giant can be tomorrow's dinosaur. You gotta be adaptable, you gotta be willing to pivot, and you gotta respect the competition. Chapter 4. The Facebook Effect. And then came the real game-changer, Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg launched Facebook in 2004, and it was like nothing we'd ever seen before. Clean design, real names, a focus on connecting with people you actually knew. It just made sense. Friendster, meanwhile, was stuck in the past. They were slow to adapt, they were slow to innovate, and they were quickly becoming the MySpace of their time. User experience was still clunky, the design was outdated and the features felt stale. Facebook was eating their lunch, and they didn't know how to respond. By 2009, Friendster was a ghost of its former self. They sold the company for a measly $26 million, a fraction of what Google had offered them just a few years earlier. By 2011, they shut down their social networking services entirely. The OG social network was officially dead. Listen, I'm not telling you this story to make fun of Friendster. I'm telling you this because their story is a cautionary tale. It's a reminder that in the business world, you can never rest on your laurels. You gotta keep innovating, you gotta keep hustling, and you gotta be willing to adapt or die. Outro lessons learned. So what can we learn from Friendster's collapse? Here are the key lessons. Being first doesn't guarantee success. You must execute flawlessly. User experience is more important than early hype. Tech moves fast. Never underestimate competition. Complacency is the death of innovation. What do you think? Could Friendster have beaten Facebook if they had made better decisions? Let's discuss in the comments, share and subscribe for more business case studies.